Chosen one. Heaven pauses right now to whisper into your spirit. Thursday is not just another day on the calendar. This moment is not coincidence. This is divine interruption. A sacred appointment between you and the voice of God. You may have scrolled past 1,000 things today, but this word was reserved for you. You are not ordinary. You are not random. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. And the fact that you are hearing this right now is proof that God's eye has never left you. You have walked through shadows, endured storms, faced battles others could not even imagine. Yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still searching for meaning. Heaven does not overlook such strength. Every sleepless night, every tear shed in silence, every moment you thought you were alone has been recorded. You were never unseen. You were never abandoned. Listen carefully. Your life is not the result of accidents or chaos. Your steps have been ordered. Your path has been carved. And your destiny is unfolding. Even now, you were set apart, marked by difference, and called for more than blending into the noise of this world. That is why certain doors refused to open, why certain people walked away, why rejection seemed to follow you. It was not punishment. It was protection. The hand of God was shaping you for a day such as this. Chosen one. Do you not feel it in your spirit? The atmosphere shifts when your name is spoken in heaven. The very air around you testifies that you are set apart. Even the storms you faced were secretly training grounds, molding your soul to carry the weight of divine destiny. The Spirit reminds us in the book of Isaiah, chapter 2, verse 31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. This is not vague encouragement. This is your lifeline. Heaven is unveiling a divine strategy. And Thursday is being marked as your threshold moment. Chosen one. You are not here by mistake. You are being summoned into alignment. The signs around you are not random, they are prophetic confirmations. Even the battles you fought this week were proof that breakthrough was near. Because darkness always fights hardest when light is about to break through. Your presence terrifies the shadows. Do you not see? The fact that you carry light means that you attract resistance. You are not cursed. You are dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. That is why you were fought so fiercely. And yet, here you stand, with breath in your lungs and destiny still ahead. That is victory already. Now, pause for a moment. Let this truth sink into your bones. You are chosen. You are not too late. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. Heaven has paused on a Thursday to remind you that your life still holds a divine assignment. Every delay you thought was denial is being reversed. Every setback you thought was permanent is being undone. Every season of silence is breaking open into songs of deliverance. This message is not just to encourage you, it is to awaken you. The hour is serious. You cannot afford to sleep through destiny. You cannot keep postponing obedience. The voice of God is pressing you now. Rise up. Align yourself. Step into the flow of blessing that is already being released. There are doors about to open that no one will be able to shut. There are opportunities being positioned with your name on them. There are alignments being crafted in heaven that will collide with your path. The enemy fought to block you, but he cannot override what God has already ordained. Chosen one. Hear me clearly. This is your confirmation. Heaven is thundering over your life, declaring that you are moving into a season of release, favor, and restoration. Thursday is not just lucky, it is prophetic. It is heaven's calendar intersecting with your obedience. So I call you now, if this word resonates in your spirit, do not stay silent. Stand up in faith. Declare your alignment. Engage with the movement of heaven. Like, share, and subscribe, so this word may continue to reach more chosen ones like you, those who need to hear the reminder that destiny has not forgotten them. And before you scroll away, seal this moment by leaving a prophetic number in the comments. Comment 777 as a sign that you receive the completion, the perfection, and the heavenly alignment being released over your Thursday right now. Chosen one, the unseen weight you carry has been heavy, yet it has not crushed you. Many cannot perceive the battles you endure because you wear strength like a cloak and silence like armor. They see the surface, but they do not witness the private tears, the nights when you stared at the ceiling in the dark, begging God for answers, wondering if anyone truly sees you. What you carry has often felt invisible to others, but it has never been invisible to heaven. The truth is this: the deeper your calling, the heavier the weight. Those chosen to walk closely with God are also chosen to carry burdens that shape their character. You have endured disappointments that others could not survive. You have stood in places where betrayal cut deep, where rejection pierced the soul, and where loneliness wrapped itself around you like chains. And yet, you are still standing. That is the evidence of your chosenness, resilience, when the world expected you to break. It is important that you know this weight is not punishment. It is preparation. The pain you carry, the wounds that never seem to heal, they are being forged into testimony. The scars you hide are becoming the very places where God's light will shine through. In the hidden valleys, while no one else was watching, your faith was being tested and refined. Every moment of silence, every unanswered prayer, every season where God seemed distant was secretly molding your soul for endurance and authority. There are those who have mocked you, dismissing your struggle as weakness. There are those who misjudged you, assuming your quiet strength meant you did not feel the heaviness. But heaven has seen, heaven has kept record. Heaven has not been blind to your sacrifice. The very weight that others overlook is the same weight that heaven honors. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 34, verse 18, "The Lord is close to the broken-hearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Those words are not just poetry, they are a mirror of your story. God has walked with you in your crushing. He has collected your tears in His bottle. He has been near when you thought you were forgotten. You must understand, the unseen weight you carry is evidence of your spiritual assignment. Ordinary souls are not trusted with extraordinary burdens. The more weight you bear, the more authority you will carry when you rise. Do you see now why you are different? Do you see why others cannot fully understand your journey? You were never called to blend in. The heaviness was shaping you for a calling that demands resilience, compassion, and wisdom. Beloved chosen one, I tell you this: your pain has purpose. Every trial has deposited strength inside you. Every lonely night has stretched your capacity for empathy. Every rejection has deepened your ability to discern. You are being shaped into one who can stand in storms and not be shaken. The unseen weight is becoming the very foundation for your future victories. And here is the mystery: what you carry in silence is the very thing that heaven will amplify in due season. Your tears will become seeds of joy. Your scars will become testimonies of healing. The hidden weight will one day be revealed as a crown of glory. The world may never know the full extent of your suffering, but they will see the radiance of the victory that emerges from it. Even now, heaven leans close to remind you, nothing you have carried is wasted. Every step has been measured. Every burden has been accounted for. The unseen weight you carry is not a curse. It is the sign of your divine election. God trusted you with it because He knew you would not collapse under it. Chosen one, hold fast. The heaviness will not last forever. The night does not endure without morning. Your strength is being renewed even as you listen to these words. Heaven is not distant, it is near. Closer than your breath. Closer than your heartbeat. You may not feel it in every moment, but your unseen burdens are being lifted one by one. The God who saw you weep in secret will honor you in the open. Carry this truth with you. The unseen weight is your evidence. It proves your resilience, your calling, and your destiny. Do not despise it. Do not resent it. For in time, it will testify of your chosenness. Chosen one. Have you ever wondered why you cannot blend in? Why your life never seems to follow the same patterns as others? From the beginning, you have been marked by difference. You may have tried to fit into circles, to mold yourself into spaces that seemed safe. But something always pushed you out. That is because you are not meant to live hidden in the crowd. You are meant to shine as a light set on a hill. Rejection has followed you, not because you are unworthy, but because you are chosen. When doors closed unexpectedly, it was not a sign that you lacked value. When people misunderstood you, it was not proof of your weakness. It was heaven's way of shielding you from places that could not hold your anointing. You carry a light so fierce that darkness trembles at your very presence. The people who withdrew from you were never truly walking with you. God Himself removed them. Because not everyone can be trusted with the depth of your calling. There have been times you asked, "Why me? Why do I feel so out of place? Why can't I just live like everyone else?" The answer is simple. You were never called to everyone else. You were set apart from the womb. Even your struggles, even your wilderness seasons, are unique because they are forming a testimony the world has yet to see. The prophet Elijah spoke as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 18, verse 21. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow Him. But if Baal is God, follow him. These words pierce through time to remind you, you cannot live in indecision. You cannot keep one foot in the world and one foot in destiny. Your difference is not a curse. It is a calling to fully step into who you were created to be. Chosen one. It is time to embrace your uniqueness. The rejection that hurt you was training ground for resilience. The misunderstanding you faced was sharpening your ability to walk with boldness, even when no one else applauds. You were created to stand out, not to fade into the background. This is why you feel restless when you compromise. This is why your spirit burns when you try to hide. You were designed to disrupt darkness, not to partner with it. You are called to be salt and light. Salt does not blend, it preserves. It adds flavor. It prevent decay. Light does not blend, it reveals. It illuminates. It disrupts shadows. That is you. You are a disruptor of darkness. You are a signpost of hope. When you walk into a room, atmospheres shift because the presence of God within you cannot be ignored. Now, I call you to respond, not with silence, but with a declaration of agreement. Type these words: I am chosen. Do not underestimate the power of confession. When you write it, you are not just typing letters, you are affirming identity. You are declaring to heaven that you accept your difference. And you are declaring to hell that you will no longer bow to the lies of rejection. These 3 words break chains because they align your mouth with the truth of your destiny. Chosen one. The moment you say, I am chosen, you take back authority over every label spoken against you. You silence the voices that told you that you were not enough. You cancel the whispers that said you would never belong. You rise above the rejection that tried to cage you. You step boldly into your divine identity. Do you not see how powerful this is? When you agree with God's declaration over your life, the enemy loses ground. When you confess your chosenness, you give heaven permission to accelerate your destiny. You move from surviving to thriving. You move from wandering to walking in purpose. The days of questioning whether you are enough are over. You are not only enough, you are anointed. You are not only accepted, you are appointed. And every place that once rejected you will one day watch in awe as God lifts you in plain sight. Your difference will no longer be a source of pain. It will become the very evidence of God's hand on your life. Beloved, you must hold this truth in your spirit. You were never meant to fit in, because you were always meant to stand out. Rejection was your redirection. Misunderstanding was your protection. And your difference is your destiny. Heaven calls you chosen, and the earth will see the fruit of that calling. So write it now. Boldly, I am chosen. Let it be your seal, your agreement, your banner. These words will echo in your heart long after this moment, reminding you that you are not ordinary, not accidental, not replaceable. You are chosen, chosen one. You must understand that this Thursday carries weight beyond the natural. Heaven has a rhythm, and there are appointed times when the invisible aligns with the visible. This day, though it seems ordinary to the world, has been marked as extraordinary in the Spirit. It is a day of prophetic alignment, a day where heaven's timing intersects with your obedience. There are moments when destiny knocks quietly, and there are moments when it pounds loudly on the door of your life. Thursday is one of those loud moments. It is not coincidence that you are hearing this now. It is orchestration. It is a reminder that divine timing is not controlled by clocks or calendars, but by the eternal plan of God. You have stepped into a season where delays are breaking, where closed doors are shifting, where the waiting is finally yielding fruit. For years, you may have felt like nothing was moving. Prayers seemed unanswered. Promises felt distant. Hope wavered in the face of endless waiting. But when prophetic alignment comes, what has been stagnant suddenly flows. What seemed impossible suddenly manifests. It is like the tide turning after years of stillness, swift, undeniable, unstoppable. Heaven speaks clearly through the words in Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 12. The Lord will open the heavens, the storehouse of his bounty, to send rain on your land in season and to bless all the work of your hands. You will lend to many nations, but will borrow from none. Notice the phrase, in season. God's promises have always been true. But there is a season when they manifest. That season is not determined by man, but by God Himself. And for you, Thursday marks the opening of that season. This alignment is not just about blessings, it is about positioning. When heaven moves, it requires your spirit to be attentive, your heart to be surrendered, and your steps to be ordered. If you try to move ahead of the timing, frustration results. If you lag behind, opportunities slip away. But when you walk in sync with God's calendar, doors open effortlessly, and favor flows like a river. Prophetic alignment also means that the delays you faced were not wasted. They were not denials. But divine pause. You were not being ignored. You were being preserved for the right moment. Consider the seed planted in soil. It spends time hidden, unseen, silent. Yet at the appointed season, it breaks through the ground. Not a moment too early or too late. That is you, chosen one. You have been hidden, pressed, and prepared. But now the season of revealing is here. You may ask, why Thursday? In the Spirit, Thursday represents transition, the movement from what was to what shall be. It is the bridge between the heaviness of past burdens and the rest of promised victories. Heaven is highlighting this day to awaken you to motion, to declare that the time of waiting is over and the time of stepping forward has begun. Prophetic alignment also reveals itself through clarity. Have you noticed the stirring in your heart? The sense that something is shifting? That is not imagination. That is the Spirit whispering that the season has changed. When alignment comes, confusion lifts. The fog begins to clear. You start to see why certain things did not work before and why certain people exited your life. It all makes sense under the light of God's timing. Do not underestimate what alignment can do. In a single day, Joseph went from prisoner to ruler because the season shifted. In a single night, Peter the fisherman became Peter the fisher of men because Jesus stepped into his boat at the right time. In a single encounter, Saul the persecutor became Paul the apostle because heaven's timing collided with his journey. Do you see? Chosen one. When alignment comes, destinies accelerate. Your Thursday is not about superstition or luck. It is about heaven's appointed time. You are stepping into synchronization with divine design. The waiting has not been wasted. The tears have not been wasted. The pruning has not been wasted. It has all been leading you here, to a moment where everything clicks into place. Chosen one, lift your head. Your season of alignment is here. Walk with confidence. Trust that heaven's timing is perfect. Release the need to control the how and when, and simply step into the flow of what God is doing. Thursday is your threshold, your crossing over, your confirmation that what was delayed is now being delivered. And when the alignment comes, you will look back and understand every closed door, every delay, every moment of silence will make sense. You will see that you were not forgotten, you were preserved. You were not delayed, you were prepared. And you will know beyond doubt that Thursday was never ordinary, it was always sacred. Chosen one. Do you realize how many times the enemy thought he had you finished? He whispered that you would not survive the storm. He sent confusion to your mind, heaviness to your heart, and obstacles to your path. He tried to suffocate your joy, to bury your hope, to drown your purpose. Yet here you are still standing, still breathing, still holding on to the promise of God. Darkness had an agenda, but it failed. The very schemes that were designed to break you have only made you stronger. The lies spoken against you have become fuel for your determination. The closed doors have redirected you toward greater ones. The rejection has carved you into someone resilient, unshakable, and immovable. What the enemy meant for evil, heaven is turning for good. Scripture says in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 10, "The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full." These words echo across time to remind you that the enemy's plan has always been destruction, but God's plan has always been abundance. If you are still here, it is because life real, eternal, unstoppable life is working inside you. Chosen one, think of your journey like a tree. The storms have bent you, the winds have tested you, but your roots have only grown deeper. Each trial has driven you further into the soil of God's faithfulness. And just as a tree does not apologize for stretching toward the sky, you too must rise without shame. Your branches are meant to reach higher, to provide shade, to bear fruit for generations. And now, I ask something of you, not as a command, but as an invitation. Just as this tree cannot thrive without both roots and branches, this message cannot reach beyond without both voice and community. If these words are water to your soul, consider pouring water back into the soil that makes them possible, like a river flowing into another. Your sharing keeps the stream alive. When you like this message, it is like planting a seed where others can see it grow. When you share, it is like carrying bread to the hungry, ensuring that no one around you starves of encouragement. When you subscribe, it is like joining a caravan of travelers, moving together through the wilderness toward the promised land. And when you donate, no matter the size, it is like placing oil in the lamp so the flame never dies out. Without oil, the lamp grows dim. With oil, the light continues to shine into dark places. Do not think of these actions as transactions. They are sacred acts of partnership. Just as Moses needed Aaron and Hur to hold up his arms in battle, so too does this message need hands to hold it steady. Your support is not just about sustaining words, it is about sustaining light, sustaining truth, sustaining a beacon for others who are stumbling in shadows. Many are walking through storms right now, just as you once did. Some are on the edge, ready to give up, waiting for a word that will breathe life into their weary bones. Your simple act, your like, your share, your subscription, your donation may be the bridge that carries this message to them in their hour of need. Chosen one, picture this: a candle in a dark room, alone. It flickers with beauty, but its reach is limited. Yet when other candles are lit from its flame, the room begins to glow. The darkness retreats. The atmosphere changes. That is what happens when you choose to partner with this message. You are not just receiving, you are multiplying the light. And do not underestimate the power of small acts. Just as the widow's 2 coins in the temple carried more weight than the riches of others, your contribution, whether it is a click, a share, or a donation, has eternal significance when given with sincerity. Heaven does not measure the size. Heaven measures the heart. So I speak this gently, but with conviction. If this word has touched you, if you feel heaven breathing through it, Do not let it stop with you. Plant it like a seed. Carry it like a torch. Share it like bread. And support it as you would a well that quenches your thirst, so that it may remain open for others to drink. You are proof that the enemy failed. You are living testimony that God's hand is stronger than any plot of darkness. And now, you are being invited not only to receive this truth, but to become a vessel through which others receive it. Chosen one. Lift your eyes. The battle you survived is the battle someone else is still fighting. The comfort you have found is the comfort someone else is desperately seeking. Be the bridge. Be the vessel. Be the flame that lights another candle. And as you do, you will find that giving never depletes you, it multiplies you. Chosen one. Pause for a moment and sense this truth. Your steps are being aligned with heaven's order. Even when it felt like you were wandering, even when you doubted your direction, God was still guiding you. He has never lost track of you. The delays you experienced were not detours away from destiny. They were pauses that kept you safe until the right moment arrived. And that moment is unfolding now. Sometimes the journey feels slow, like you are standing in line while others move ahead. You see people passing you, celebrating victories, walking through doors, and you wonder, Lord, did I miss my chance? But you must know this, heaven's timing does not operate by comparison. Your process is different because your calling is different. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on schedule with God's appointed plan. The Apostle reminds us in his letter to the Galatians, chapter 6, verse 9, "Let us not become weary in doing good. For at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." This is the truth written over your life. Your waiting has not been empty. Your consistency has not been overlooked. Every seed you sowed in faith will return to you in season. Chosen one. Think of it like an archer pulling back the bow. The tension feels like backward motion, but it is setting up momentum for a powerful release. The further back the bowstring is pulled, the farther the arrow will fly. That backward pull represents the seasons of delay, the times you thought you were forgotten, but heaven was simply positioning you for greater distance, greater impact, greater acceleration. This is why you cannot despise the waiting. It is a womb of preparation. Just as a child is not born the moment of conception, but must grow, develop, and be nurtured until the appointed time, so too must your destiny mature until it can be carried without breaking you. You may not have seen visible progress, but beneath the surface, heaven has been shaping and fortifying you. Chosen one. Listen carefully. This Thursday is not an accident. It is a prophetic signpost that you are stepping into your on-time positioning. You are not late. You are not forgotten. And you are not overlooked. The very moments you thought were wasted will be redeemed as stepping stones into your breakthrough. And now, I invite you to participate in this prophetic alignment. Seal this truth with a simple act of faith. Comment the number 444 below. This number symbolizes stability, foundation, and the establishment of God's order in your life. By writing it, you are declaring that you trust the process, that you believe your waiting is purposeful, and that you are ready to walk in divine timing. Do not underestimate what this act means. When you type 444, you are not just pressing keys, you are aligning your voice with heaven's rhythm. You are saying, I choose to trust God's order. I choose to believe I am right on time. That declaration shifts something within you. It cancels the lies of delay. It silences the whispers of doubt. It awakens faith that your story is unfolding exactly as it should. Chosen one. Every time you felt left behind was simply a setup to be launched ahead. Every time you felt unseen was heaven's way of protecting you from premature exposure. Every time you felt delayed was proof that you are being preserved for the fullness of your assignment. Your timeline is not broken, it is blessed. Let this truth breathe in your spirit. You are stepping into synchronization with divine order. The doors that are opening now will not require force, for they are appointed for you. The opportunities arriving now will not slip through your fingers, for they have been timed by heaven. And the people aligning with you now are not random, they are assigned. So declare it boldly, write it clearly. Let heaven and earth witness your faith. Comment 444 to anchor yourself in this moment of alignment. You are not late, you are chosen, preserved, and perfectly on time. Chosen one. One of the deepest lies you have faced is the thought that you are too late, that you missed your chance, that somehow life passed you by while you were stuck in the shadows of waiting. But let me tell you with authority, you are not late. You are precisely where you are meant to be in God's unfolding story. The enemy has tried to convince you that lost time can never be restored. He points to missed opportunities, broken relationships, delayed answers, and whispers, "It's over. You'll never catch up." Yet heaven's truth is louder. God is the redeemer of time. He does not simply move you forward. He restores what was lost, multiplies what was stolen, and accelerates what seemed delayed. Chosen one. Remember this. Time is not your enemy. It is God's servant. Every hour you thought was wasted is being folded back into your destiny like threads in a greater design. The setbacks that slowed you down are secretly positioning you for acceleration. The prayers that seemed unanswered are actually stored, waiting for the season of release. Heaven is not bound by human calendars. Eternity bends time to fulfill promise. So breathe deeply and know your story is not behind schedule. You are walking in step with a God who restores, multiplies, and redeems every moment. We find in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25, "I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten, the great locust and the young locust, the other locusts and the locust swarm, my great army that I sent among you." These words are more than ancient promises. They are alive for you right now. Every wasted season, every year that felt swallowed up by pain, will be restored. God is not late, and therefore, neither are you. Chosen one. Picture a tapestry. From the underside, it looks tangled, messy, confusing, with threads crossing in ways that make no sense. That is what your life may feel like at times, an unsolvable knot. But when you step to the other side, you see the design, the artistry, the beauty that could not be perceived from below. This is how heaven sees your story. From your limited view, it seemed chaotic, but from God's perspective, every thread has been woven into purpose. Consider Abraham, who waited decades for the promise of a son. By human standards, it was too late. Yet in God's time, Isaac was born. Consider Moses, who spent 40 years in the wilderness, long after his prime by the world's measure. Yet in God's time, he became the deliverer of Israel. Consider Lazarus, whose story seemed finished, sealed by death itself. Yet in God's time, resurrection came, and what was too late became a testimony of glory. Do you see it now? Your delays are not disqualifications. Your pauses are not punishments. They are sacred alignments with a God who refuses to let your story end in despair. What you thought was over is not finished. What you thought was wasted will return, multiplied. What you thought was too late will become right on time. You must release the pressure of comparison. Others may have walked ahead of you, celebrated milestones, reached goals, or built lives that look complete. But do not compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. God's story for you is unique, and His timing is perfect. What you carry is different, and so your process must also be different. Chosen one. Imagine a fruit tree. Some bear quickly, offering small harvests year after year. Others take longer to mature. But when their season comes, their fruit is larger, richer, more enduring. That is you. Your waiting has not been wasted. It has been producing depth, maturity, and lasting impact. When your fruit appears, it will feed nations, not just individuals. Let peace enter your soul now. You are not behind. You are not late. You are aligned with eternity's clock, not the ticking of human calendars. God has measured your days and numbered your steps, and He has declared that the story of your life is unfolding at exactly the right pace. So take courage. The delays have shaped you. The waiting has refined you, and the timing that felt like disappointment is being revealed as divine protection. You are stepping into the realization that nothing has been wasted. You are not too late, and you never were. Chosen one. Let your spirit be still and listen. Heaven's courtroom is in session. The unseen realm is not silent. It is alive with decrees, judgments, and verdicts over your life. The gavel of heaven is striking, declaring that the season of accusation is coming to an end. What was spoken against you in shadows? What was whispered to break your confidence? What was used to keep you bound? Heaven is overruling it now. For too long, the enemy has tried to bring evidence against you. He has pointed to your failures, your mistakes, your weaknesses, as if they disqualify you from destiny. He has spoken lies into your mind, accusing you of being unworthy, unready, unredeemable. But in the heavenly court, there is a greater voice, one that silences every accuser. That voice belongs to the advocate, the one who intercedes for you day and night. The enemy thought his accusations would define you, but heaven's decree has rewritten your identity. No longer are you labeled by failure, you are clothed in righteousness. The courtroom is not a place of fear anymore. It is the chamber where your freedom is proclaimed and your destiny is sealed. The advocate stands continually on your behalf, reminding heaven of the price already paid. His scars are your receipt, proof that every debt has been cancelled. You are not standing trial again and again. Your case is finished. The verdict is eternal. Your life is anchored in grace, not in accusation. Chosen one. Walk boldly as one acquitted. Let the sound of the gavel echo in your heart louder than any whisper of shame. Every time fear rises, remember, the courtroom is closed. The judge has spoken, and your name has been cleared forever. Step forward as one free indeed. The ancient words recorded in Romans chapter 8, verse 33 declare, "Who will bring any charge against those whom God has chosen? It is God who justifies." Do you feel the weight of that? The accusations lose their power, not because you are perfect, but because God Himself has declared you justified. The gavel has fallen in your favor. Chosen one. Imagine standing in a courtroom filled with spectators. The accuser lists every failure, every broken moment, every hidden weakness. The room feels heavy with shame. But then the judge, holy, righteous, and sovereign, raises his hand. He looks not at your failures, but at the advocate who stands beside you. Scarred hands lifted in testimony, and the verdict is clear: justified, forgiven, chosen. The room falls silent because the case is closed. No further accusations can stand. This is what is happening for you even now. The whispers that haunted you are being silenced. The shame that weighed you down is being lifted. The lies that said you could never rise again are being dismantled. Heaven's judgment is in your favor. And when heaven speaks, no earthly or spiritual power can overturn it. Understand this: justification is not just forgiveness. It is the complete cancellation of guilt, the restoration of dignity, the affirmation that you stand righteous before God. It is heaven's way of saying, you belong, you are accepted, you are free. End of prompt. Chosen one. You must let this truth sink deep into your soul. Stop replaying the tapes of your failures. Stop rehearsing the accusations in your mind. The courtroom of heaven has already ruled, and the case against you is dismissed. What remains now is the declaration of freedom over your life. Think of chains falling from a prisoner's wrists. Think of a captive walking out of a cell into sunlight. That is you. The verdict has unlocked your shackles. You are no longer bound by the past, no longer defined by mistakes, no longer trapped in cycles of shame. Heaven's courtroom is not just about canceling accusations, it is about releasing inheritance. When the case is dismissed, you are free not only from guilt, but also to step into everything that belongs to you as a child of God. Promises that felt out of reach are now accessible. Blessings that were delayed are now being released. Doors that were closed are now swinging open. Chosen one. Recognize what this means. You do not have to fight for approval anymore. You already have it. You do not have to beg for acceptance. You are already chosen. You do not have to fear the judgment of others. The only judgment that matters has been made in your favor. And when heaven rules, the earth must align. Accusers may still whisper, but their words are powerless. Shadows might still linger, but their grip is broken. The verdict of heaven has the final word. You are justified. You are free. You are chosen. So, lift your head. Beloved, walk with confidence, not in arrogance, but in holy assurance. The courtroom has closed its session. The gavel has struck. The judge has spoken, and his decree over you is unshakable. No charge, no shame, no guilt, no condemnation, only destiny, freedom, and promise. Chosen one. When heaven speaks, you must learn to answer. Silence may feel safe, but it leaves room for doubt to grow. When the Spirit calls, your response becomes the key that unlocks the next door. This is not about religious ritual, it is about agreement, alignment, and obedience. Throughout your journey, There have been moments when hesitation cost you time. You felt the nudge to act, but delayed. Waiting for confirmation, waiting for courage, waiting for the right moment. Yet the truth is this: hesitation steals what obedience secures. Heaven does not call you to perfection, only to response. Consider the shepherd boy David, standing before Goliath. The soldiers trembled, paralyzed by fear. But David responded. He did not wait until he felt strong enough. He answered with faith. Consider Isaiah, hearing the voice of the Lord asking, "Whom shall I send?" He could have stayed quiet, but instead he said, "Here am I, send me." Their greatness was not found in flawless preparation, but in their willingness to respond when called. When heaven calls, it is not looking for excuses, it is looking for willingness. Your yes outweighs your flaws. Your surrender outweighs your fear. God is not waiting for you to be perfect. He is waiting for you to be available. Readiness is not absence of fear, it is presence of faith. Chosen one. Think of a soldier receiving orders in battle. The battlefield does not allow for delay. The command must be answered. In the same way, your obedience is time-sensitive. The enemy seeks hesitation, but your immediate response disrupts his schemes and secures victory for your soul. There are blessings reserved only for those who respond quickly, like manna in the wilderness. They must be gathered at the appointed time. Delay causes spoilage. Do not let procrastination rot your portion. Your yes today is not just about now, it shapes your tomorrow, and it prepares generations to come after you. Your words carry creative power. When you say, "Yes, Lord," you are not just responding, you are writing prophecy into your life. Your lips echo heaven's decree. The atmosphere bends under your surrender. Angels move in response. Darkness flees in resistance. Your yes becomes a weapon sharper than any sword, as was spoken in the sacred texts of old. In the book of James, chapter 1, verse 22, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Listening without responding leaves you unchanged. But when you act, when you answer, when you speak back to heaven, transformation begins. Chosen one, I invite you into such a response now. Type these words: yes, Lord. 3 simple syllables, yet carrying eternal weight. This is not just a phrase, it is your surrender. It is your agreement with heaven's verdict. Your declaration that you will no longer resist, no longer delay, no longer hide. It is the key that turns silence into action. When you write, "Yes, Lord," you are breaking the cycle of hesitation that once bound you. You are stepping into a rhythm where obedience becomes natural. You are declaring that your heart is ready, your hands are open, and your life is yielded. Do not underestimate how powerful such a response is. Heaven is moved not by eloquence, but by sincerity. Think of a door that has long been closed. Keys of gold may not open it. Elaborate speeches may not budge it. But a simple, wholehearted response can. Yes, Lord, is that key. It shifts atmospheres. It aligns your spirit. It silences the enemy, who thrives on your silence but trembles at your surrender. Chosen one. There is a reason this call is urgent. You are standing at a threshold. To remain silent is to risk lingering in the hallway, but to respond is to step across the doorway into promise. Every story of faith in Scripture is marked by a response. Abraham leaving his homeland, Esther stepping before the king, Peter stepping out of the boat. Their yes unlocked what their silence never could. So let your heart be stirred. Let the courage rise within you. Say it. Write it. Declare it. Yes, Lord. And know that, as you do, heaven hears. Angels take note, and the very earth responds to your surrender. Beloved, this is more than repetition. It is agreement, and agreement carries authority. Two cannot walk together unless they agree. Your yes is your alignment with heaven's walk. Your yes is your acceptance of the assignment. Your yes is the sound that tells the universe you are ready. Now lift your head. Chosen one. You have been accused, but acquitted. You have been delayed, but preserved. You have been pressed, but prepared. And now, you are being summoned into action, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Do not let silence rob you of this moment. Speak your yes and step boldly into the story heaven has already written over you. Chosen one. Lift your eyes to see what heaven is doing. A door of opportunity stands before you. It is not crafted by human hands, nor guarded by earthly powers. This is the door that only God can open. And when He opens, no man, no enemy, no circumstance can shut it. For so long, you have stood in hallways of waiting, staring at locked doors, trying keys that did not fit. You knocked until your hands grew weary, prayed until your voice grew hoarse, and wondered if perhaps you were forgotten. But today the sound of hinges turning echoes in the spirit. The doorway is swinging wide, and what was once shut is opening to you. Sometimes, the greatest test is not in knocking but in waiting for the sound of the latch. You thought silence meant denial, but it was preparation. Heaven was aligning the timing, arranging the details, ensuring that when the door opened, you would be ready to walk through without fear, hesitation, or compromise. And now, the air shifts around you. The creak of unseen hinges is not imagination, it is confirmation. The door that resisted you before is opening because it recognizes your name. The threshold is marked for your feet, and every step forward will echo with the authority of one chosen, one appointed, one stepping into their rightful inheritance. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7, "Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Knock, and the door will be opened to you." You have asked, you have sought, you have knocked, and heaven answers with an open door. Chosen one. Think of this door as more than just an entrance. It is a threshold, a bridge between where you were and where you are going. To step through it is to leave behind seasons of lack, of fear, of confusion. To step through it is to enter a space of clarity, provision, and divine assignment. And just as a door does not swing open without hinges, so too this message cannot move forward without the hinges of community. If these words are a key to your heart, then your response is the hinge that allows it to keep swinging open for others. When you like, you become a torch that signals, "This light matters." When you share, You extend a key to someone still standing before a locked door. When you subscribe, you join the household of those who refuse to walk alone, choosing instead to journey together through God's openings. And if you choose to donate, see it not as loss, but as planting a seed into the doorway itself. Just as oil keeps the hinges from rusting, your generosity keeps the door moving freely, so that it may never creak shut on someone desperate for hope. Every contribution, no matter how small, is like oil on the hinges, ensuring the door remains open for those who will come after you. Picture this: a lighthouse standing on a rocky shore. Its beam cuts through fog, guiding ships away from destruction and towards safety. But the lighthouse cannot shine without fuel. Your partnership, your likes, shares, subscriptions, donations become the fuel that keeps the light burning. Without it, ships may crash. With it, countless lives are guided safely home. Or think of it as a well in a dry land. You have drawn refreshing water from it today, quenching the thirst of your weary soul. But the well must be maintained, its walls strengthened, its waters kept pure. Your support is like drawing stone around the well, ensuring it never collapses and remains available for every thirsty traveler who comes after you. Chosen 1. Do not see this as a demand, but as an invitation. The same way God has opened doors for you, you now have the chance to open doors for others. The simple act of engaging, of sowing, of giving back becomes a holy partnership with heaven. You may not realize how far your ripple goes. A share can land on the screen of someone at the edge of despair. A donation can keep the flame alive for countless others you may never meet. A subscription can anchor you into a family of light-bearers, walking together through the doors God is opening. This is how the kingdom works: multiplication through participation. One seed becomes a tree, one flame lights a forest, one door becomes a hallway of many, and your action, as simple as it feels, becomes part of something eternal. Chosen 1. The door is open for you today. Will you step through with boldness? Will you leave behind hesitation and walk into provision, clarity, and destiny? And will you also hold the door open for others through your support, your generosity, your engagement? This is how heaven's work continues, not through one, but through many. Lift your head, step through, and partner in keeping the hinges moving. For the door is not just yours, it is for every soul who longs to find their way. Chosen 1. The years behind you have not been wasted. What felt like wandering was actually preparation. What seemed like silence was actually shaping. What you thought was abandonment was, in truth, training for something far greater than you could have imagined. Heaven has been weaving every moment, every delay, every detour into a fabric of destiny. Often, the most significant preparation happens in hiddenness. Think of Joseph in the prison. To the outside world, it seemed like he was forgotten, discarded, left behind. But in that place of obscurity, God was forming his character, deepening his wisdom, teaching him to steward authority with humility. When the moment came for him to stand before Pharaoh, he was not only ready, he was refined. You too, beloved, have been through such a hidden season. The nights of loneliness, the unanswered prayers, the tears no one else saw. They were not wasted. They were chiseling you into a vessel strong enough to carry the weight of your calling. The pain you endured was fire purifying gold, carving away impurities so that only brilliance remained. Chosen one. Preparation in hiddenness is like roots beneath the soil. No one celebrates their growth. Yet without them, the tree would fall at the first storm. Your unseen roots have been stretching deep, gripping the foundation of God's faithfulness, so that when your season of visible fruit comes, you will remain unshakable. Even now, heaven whispers that nothing has been wasted. Every silence was a classroom. Every valley was a training ground. You were learning strength, discernment, and endurance in the shadows. Soon, what was invisible will become undeniable. Those who overlooked you will marvel, and you will know that every tear became a seed of power. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 3, the crucible for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the heart. This is what your hidden preparation has been, an inner testing, a refining of the heart, so that when elevation comes, your foundation will not crumble. Chosen one. Your pruning was not punishment, it was protection. Branches were cut away, not because you were barren, but because you are destined to bear more fruit. Friendships were stripped, opportunities removed, doors closed, because heaven was making room for what is greater, fuller, eternal. Do not grieve what you lost, for it was only the gardener's hand preparing you for abundance. Think of a musician practicing alone in a room, hours of repetition, mistakes corrected, notes rehearsed over and over, yet no audience applauds. Still, when the curtain finally rises and the stage lights blaze, the preparation done in silence shines through. This is your life. Heaven has heard the music you practiced in the dark, and soon the world will hear it in the light. Your hidden preparation has built muscles of endurance. Every challenge stretched you. Every trial strengthened you. Every valley deepened your compassion. Without those seasons, you would not have the resilience you carry now. The very storms that threatened to drown you have taught you how to walk on water. Chosen one. It is time to stop despising your hiddenness. What you thought was delay was design. What you thought was silence was strategy. You were being prepared for platforms that require strength, wisdom, and humility. And though no one else saw the weight you carried, heaven saw it all. And heaven smiles on your perseverance. When David was anointed as king, he did not immediately ascend the throne. He went back to the fields, tending sheep, playing music in solitude. Yet it was in those hidden years that his worship deepened. His courage was tested, and his heart was molded. By the time he stood before Goliath, his preparation spoke louder than his inexperience. So it is with you. The hidden years you endured are about to make sense. The lessons you learned in private will soon bear fruit in public. The humility you carried in silence will soon be crowned with honor, and all will see that what was hidden was not forgotten. It was simply protected until the appointed time. Chosen one. Lift your heart in gratitude. Even for the seasons you once resented, every unanswered prayer was a teacher. Every disappointment was a chisel. Every delay was a refiner's fire. You are stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more steadfast because of them. And now, your hidden preparation is about to reveal its glory. Chosen one. Cycles are powerful. They repeat quietly, shaping your life until you barely notice their grip. Some cycles are blessings, patterns of favor, rhythms of growth. Others are chains, recurring pain, familiar disappointments, repeated setbacks. Perhaps you have felt trapped, as though every time you take one step forward, something drags you 2 steps back. But hear this, heaven is declaring an end to the cycles that have bound you. There comes a moment when heaven draws a line, a holy decree that says, no more. Just as Israel's slavery in Egypt was broken in a single night, just as Paul and Silas saw prison doors fling wide open at midnight, so too are your chains loosening now. The endless repetitions of frustration, the suffocating loops of delay, they are being interrupted by divine authority. Chosen one. Breaking cycles is like stepping off a spinning wheel. For years it felt like motion, but in truth, it was exhaustion without progress. Heaven is taking your hand, steadying your steps, and guiding you onto a straight path. Now, each step forward counts. Each moment moves you closer to the promise prepared for you. The ending of cycles means new beginnings. Just as night gives way to dawn, so too does your season of repetition give way to renewal. Do not fear the unfamiliar road ahead. It is paved with grace. You are not walking alone. The same God who breaks chains also leads you into wide, spacious places of freedom. The voice of God thundered in the book of Exodus, chapter 14, verse 13. Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. Chosen one. This is your promise. The patterns that hunted you yesterday will not follow you into tomorrow. You must understand, cycles end not only by divine decree, but also by human agreement. Heaven offers freedom, but you must step out of the old pattern to embrace the new. It is like walking out of a cell after the door has been opened. The lock is broken, but you must choose to leave. Chosen one. Consider how long you have carried the weight of repeated disappointments. You prayed for change, but the same pain returned. You tried to move forward, yet found yourself circling the same mountain again and again. This is not your future. This is not your destiny. God's plan is not endless loops, but forward motion into promise. Imagine a river that once flowed in circles, swirling endlessly in a stagnant pool. But then a breakthrough comes. The rocks shift. The water is released, and suddenly the river moves forward with unstoppable force. That is what heaven is doing for you now. You are no longer swirling in cycles. You are flowing into destiny. And so I invite you to mark this prophetic ending with a simple act of agreement. Comment the number 404 below. This number signifies the breaking of cycles, the closing of what no longer serves you, and the fresh path God is opening before you. Just as 404 marks an error, it also marks interruption, the disruption of patterns that no longer belong in your story. When you write 404, you are declaring, I refuse to repeat what has been. I step into the new. I walk away from the old loops that bound me. It is a prophetic act, not just for today, but for every tomorrow that follows. Chosen one. Cycles break when courage rises. You may feel the temptation to slip back into familiar comfort, but comfort is not destiny. Familiar chains are still chains. True freedom requires you to step into the unknown, to trust that God's promise is more secure than your patterns. Do not underestimate what is happening in this moment. The atmosphere around you is shifting. The loops that tried to cage you are losing their grip. You are stepping into a season of forward movement, where progress will no longer be undone, where growth will no longer be stolen, where joy will no longer be temporary. And as you walk forward, you will notice the difference. What once drained you will no longer have power over you. What once lured you back will lose its attraction. What once trapped you in repetition will be nothing more than a memory of what God has already conquered. Chosen one. Write it boldly. 404. Let it stand as your declaration that the cycles are broken. You are not bound by yesterday. You are free to step into tomorrow. And heaven itself rejoices as the old loops fall away, and your path opens wide into promise. Chosen one. There are moments in life when everything seems to shift suddenly. You wake up expecting one thing, but by evening, the entire atmosphere has changed. What once looked immovable collapses. What seemed impossible becomes visible, and what felt hopeless transforms into testimony. This is the power of the sudden turnaround. Turnarounds do not always arrive with warning. They come like lightning in the night, illuminating the darkness in an instant. One moment, the prison doors are shut, and the next moment, like Paul and Silas, you find yourself walking out in freedom. One moment, the Red Sea is a wall of impossibility, and the next moment it parts, making a way where there was no way. One moment Lazarus is dead in the tomb, and the next moment he walks out at the sound of Jesus' command. Chosen one. Sudden turnarounds are not random. They are divine interruptions, orchestrated at the precise time when God's glory will be undeniable. Often, they arrive at the very point where human strength has failed. When you have tried every option, prayed every prayer, exhausted every resource, this is when heaven intervenes. For in that moment, no one can claim the victory but God himself. The ancient words recorded in Isaiah, chapter 60, verse 22, remind us, the least of you will become 1,000, the smallest a mighty nation. I am the Lord. In its time I will do this swiftly. Do you hear it? Swiftly. When God acts, he acts suddenly. What seemed to take years can shift in a single day. Chosen one. Think back on your journey. Have there not been small moments of turnaround already? Times when you thought you had reached the end, only for an unexpected breakthrough to arrive. Those moments were hints, foreshadows of the greater shift now at hand. Heaven is preparing not just small victories, but dramatic reversals that will silence doubt and magnify God's name. Sudden turnarounds are like storms breaking after long droughts. The land that was dry and cracked is drenched in rain. Seeds that seemed dead sprout overnight. Hope that was buried bursts forth. You may have thought your situation was beyond repair, but God specializes in restoring what seems beyond saving. Think of Job. In one season, he lost everything: wealth, family, health. His friends concluded it was over. Yet, in the suddenness of God's mercy, Job was restored double for his trouble. His end was far greater than his beginning. Chosen one. Your story carries the same promise. What feels like devastation today can transform into restoration tomorrow. The sudden turnaround also comes to confound your enemies. Those who mocked you, who assumed your failure was final, will watch in astonishment as God lifts you higher than they imagined. The tables will turn so dramatically that even those who opposed you will have to acknowledge the hand of God. But do not think the turnaround is only external. It is not only about open doors, restored resources, or visible blessings. The greatest turnaround happens within. Hearts heavy with despair become filled with joy. Minds clouded with fear are renewed with clarity. Spirits once crushed under shame rise with boldness. The suddenness of God is not limited to circumstances. It invades your soul, transforming you from the inside out. Chosen one, there is a reason your waiting has felt so long. It is because the magnitude of your turnaround will be great. When God shifts things, He does not merely rearrange them, He redefines them. The ashes of your past become the beauty of your testimony. The wilderness of your pain becomes the garden of your purpose. The chains of your past become the keys to your future. Do not fear the suddenness. It may shake you. It may disrupt your comfort, but it will never harm you. God's sudden moves are always to bless, to elevate, to position you closer to destiny. What feels like upheaval is simply the rearrangement of heaven aligning with your life. Chosen one, let your spirit anticipate the shift. Do not grow numb in waiting, assuming nothing will change, for at the appointed time, the turnaround will come. And when it does, it will not creep, it will rush in like a flood, leaving you breathless with awe. You will look back and barely recognize the place of your pain. You will stand in the land of promise and wonder how you ever doubted. You will testify that the God of sudden turnarounds is faithful, and your story will shine as living proof. So, be still, but be expectant. Trust, but also watch. The same God who parted seas, raised the dead, and turned mourning into dancing is still writing your story. And your sudden turnaround is closer than you think. Chosen one, though you often walk through life feeling alone, you are never without company. Heaven has assigned angels to you, messengers, protectors, warriors unseen, yet deeply present. They walk with you in silence, intervene in danger, and guard the fragile moments when you could have fallen but somehow remained standing. There are times you wondered how the accident did not take your life, how the sickness did not consume you, how the despair did not drown you. These were not coincidences. These were angelic interventions, swift, precise, silent. They do not come to be noticed. They come to ensure that you endure. Chosen one, every narrow escape, every inexplainable rescue, every sudden peace in chaos was a signature of angelic presence. They are not sent to display themselves, but to preserve you. Their silent protection is the hidden evidence that heaven refuses to let your story end before its time. You endure because heaven insists you must endure. As the prophet wrote in the scroll of Habakkuk, chapter 1, verse 5, "Look at the nations and watch and be utterly amazed. For I am going to do something in your days that you would not believe, even if you were told." Often, the work of angels is exactly this: too wondrous, too hidden, too unbelievable for human explanation. Chosen one, angels are not myths or distant legends. They are part of heaven's government, dispatched by the command of the Most High to serve those who are heirs of salvation. They have encamped around your dwelling, stood guard at your bedside, walked beside you in streets where danger lurked. You did not see them, but their presence was real. Imagine a soldier standing silently on the wall of a city at night, eyes alert, weapon ready. The people inside the city sleep peacefully, unaware of the watchman's vigilance. That is what angels have been for you. While you rested, they fought. While you wept, they guarded. While you doubted, they held back forces that sought to destroy you. Chosen one. There are angels who strengthen, whispering courage into your weary soul. There are angels who battle, warring against darkness that tried to smother your light. There are angels who guide, nudging you gently away from danger, aligning your steps with paths you did not even realize were safer. You are not unguarded, you are surrounded. Consider Daniel in the lion's den. Hungry beasts circled, jaws ready, yet their mouths were shut by the hand of an angel. Consider Peter in the prison, chains heavy on his wrists, guards on every side. Yet an angel appeared in the night, leading him into freedom. These stories are not distant. They mirror your life more than you know. Chosen one. You were not kept alive by chance. Angels have shielded you because heaven's assignment over your life could not be interrupted. You may have felt fragile, but you were covered. You may have felt defenseless, but you were guarded. The fact that you are here is proof that angelic hands have carried you through battles you could not have fought alone. And their work continues. Even now, angels are moving. They go ahead of you to prepare paths, behind you to secure your back, beside you to hold your steps steady. They are unseen allies, faithful to their mission, unwavering in their loyalty to the one who sent them. But understand this, their presence does not diminish God's glory, it magnifies it. For every angel is sent by his command, every intervention a reflection of his care. The angels are proof that heaven has invested in your journey, that God himself considers your life worth guarding with divine armies. So do not live in fear. Chosen one. Do not imagine yourself vulnerable or exposed. You are more surrounded than you realize. The very air around you hums with unseen guardians. The night that feels heavy is filled with watchmen of light. The road that seems lonely is marked by angelic footsteps alongside your own. Chosen one. The reality of angels should not make you arrogant, but grateful, for their presence is not a crown on your head, but a covering over your path. They remind you that you are precious, not to the world, but to heaven. Precious enough that the Almighty sends his armies to protect you. Lift your heart and know you are not walking alone. You never were. Every battle, every storm, every silent night has been shared with companions you could not see, and they remain steadfast until the day you stand in the fullness of your destiny. Chosen one. Pause and reflect on the journey you've endured. Every valley you walked through, every fire that tried to consume you, every storm that threatened to sink you. Yet here you are, still standing. Your survival is not by chance. It is evidence of heaven's hand carrying you. You are living proof that resilience crowned by God cannot be crushed. The trials you faced were not meaningless. They have crowned you with endurance. A crown invisible yet radiant in the unseen realm. Every scar became a jewel. Every tear, a stone of brilliance. Every sacrifice, a golden thread woven into the crown you now wear. You may not see it with your eyes, but heaven does. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and to all who longed. Chosen one. This crown is yours. It is proof that your endurance is not wasted. It is rewarded. But hear me clearly. Endurance is not only about personal survival. It is about becoming a lighthouse for others. Imagine a shipwreck survivor building a fire on the shore so that other sailors see the light and avoid the rocks. That is you. Your endurance is not just your victory. It is someone else's guidance. Now, just as your fire has guided others, this message needs your fire to keep burning. When you like, it is as if you add wood to the flame, making it brighter for those still wandering in the dark. When you share, it is like tossing a lifeline into the storm, reaching someone who may not survive without it. When you subscribe, you are not simply clicking a button, you are stepping closer to the fire, choosing to stay near the warmth of encouragement, choosing to remain connected to a circle of endurance. And when you donate, you become like the one who pours oil into the lamp, ensuring it never goes out. Without oil, the lamp flickers. With it, the flame burns steady through the night. Do not underestimate what these actions mean. They are not small. They are sacred. They keep the fire alive. They keep the crown from being hidden. They ensure that countless others who stumble into darkness find light, find warmth, find hope. Chosen one. Think of a vineyard. Grapes, crushed, become wine. But the vineyard cannot thrive without care, without water, without hands tending it. This message is such a vineyard. It bears fruit for your soul. But to continue producing, it must be nurtured. Your support is the water, the tending, the care that allows it to flourish season after season. Or picture a bridge. Many will walk across safely, but the bridge remains strong only because unseen builders reinforce it. Your involvement, your like, share, subscription, donation is that reinforcement. Without it, the bridge weakens. With it, the bridge holds steady, carrying souls from despair to hope. Chosen one. This is not about obligation. It is about partnership. Just as Paul wrote of those who supported his ministry, you too have the chance to participate in something eternal. You may never see the faces of those impacted, but heaven records every seed sown, every flame you fuel, every act of generosity that keeps the light alive. And here is something greater. When you comment, you are not only engaging, you are testifying. Write your words below. Let them be like stones placed on an altar. Proof that you stood here today. Proof that you chose to say, this word matters. This fire must keep burning. Now, your comment becomes part of a collective testimony, a chorus of endurance, rising like incense before heaven. Each response strengthens not only this message, but also your own faith, anchoring the truth deeper within you. When you declare publicly what you feel, privately, your endurance gains new power. Chosen one. The crown of endurance sits upon your head. Do not hide it. Do not diminish it. Wear it boldly, knowing it was forged in fire and polished in pain, and let that crown inspire others to rise, to endure, to believe again. So I speak to you gently, yet with urgency. Fuel the fire. Support the vineyard. Strengthen the bridge. Keep the lamp burning. Your like, your share, your subscription, your donation, your comment. These are the hands that carry the crown from your head to countless others who long to know they too can endure. And as you do, know this: heaven smiles. The one who placed the crown upon your head sees your faithfulness, honors your endurance, and multiplies every seed you sow. Your crown shines brighter when you lift others with it. Chosen one, the crown upon your head is not just an ornament, it is evidence of battles fought, tears shed, and trials endured. Endurance has carved something in you that cannot be taken away. The world measures strength by visible triumphs, but heaven measures it by unseen perseverance. By the nights you refused to give up, even when giving up seemed easier. Your crown of endurance was not placed there in a moment of ease. It was forged in the fire of affliction. Every time you pressed forward when your body was weary, every time you lifted your head when shame tried to bow it down, every time you trusted God when answers did not come, that is when your crown was formed. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 66, verse 12. You let people ride over our heads. We went through fire and water, but you brought us to a place of abundance. Fire and water, both destructive forces, did not destroy you. Instead, they shaped you, refined you, and carried you into a greater place. Chosen one, endurance is not glamorous. It does not shine in the moment. It feels heavy, lonely, often unnoticed. But endurance births glory, like a seed hidden in soil, unseen by the world. It quietly develops roots that one day break the surface with unstoppable growth. Your endurance has been such a seed. There were days you thought no one saw your struggle. You carried weights in silence, prayed prayers with trembling lips, and wondered if even God noticed. But heaven saw. Angels recorded. The crown you now wear is heaven's acknowledgement that your perseverance was not in vain. Imagine a runner on a long course, feet aching, lungs burning, sweat blinding his eyes. The crowd is not yet in sight. The finish line feels far away, yet still he runs. That is endurance, not because he sees the reward, but because he trusts it is there. You have been that runner, and your crown proves you did not stop. Chosen one, endurance has also given you authority. When you meet someone walking through storms, you do not speak from theory, you speak from survival. You have weathered the fire, so your words carry weight. You have endured rejection, so your compassion is deep. You have walked through valleys, so your encouragement becomes a lifeline for others. This is the mystery of endurance. What once seemed like punishment becomes empowerment. The very thing that tried to crush you becomes the platform from which you stand taller. The trial you thought would end you becomes the testimony that fuels others. Your endurance has turned into authority, and your authority is crowned with glory. Think of the potter shaping clay. He presses it, spins it, apply pressure, reshapes it again and again. The clay may not understand, but every press makes it stronger. Every touch prepares it for fire. Once baked, it emerges not fragile, but firm, not shapeless, but purposeful. That is you, chosen one. The endurance has formed you into a vessel ready for great use. And know this, your crown is not temporary. Earthly crowns fade. Metals tarnish. Jewels lose their shine. But the crown of endurance is eternal. It does not rest on your head merely for this life. It follows you into eternity as testimony of faithfulness. Heaven honors what earth overlooks. The one who saw your private battles now sets you in places of honor. Chosen one. Wear your crown boldly, not with arrogance, but with gratitude. Each jewel is a story. Each gleam is a memory of nights you thought you could not survive, but did. Each sparkle is proof of God's sustaining grace. Your endurance has created beauty, even in the ashes. Do not despise the scars that remain. They are not flaws, they are etchings of your crown. The world may not see them as valuable, but heaven calls them precious. Scars are reminders not of pain, but of victory. You lived through what could have killed you. You rose from what tried to bury you. Chosen one. Endurance is not just about surviving storms. It is about being transformed in them. You are not the same as you were before the fire. You are stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more radiant. The endurance you carry is not a burden. Now, it is a badge of honor. So stand tall beneath your invisible crown. Let the weight of it remind you that you have already proven unshakable. Let its radiance encourage you when the road ahead feels uncertain. For if you endured before, you will endure again. And the same God who crowned you will carry you into every promise yet unfulfilled. Your endurance is not wasted. Your crown is not imaginary. It is real. And it is glorious. Wear it with confidence. Chosen one, the heavens applaud, even if the earth remains silent. Chosen one. As this Thursday unfolds, it carries more than hours on a clock. It carries a declaration, a sealing, a moment when heaven places its final stamp on the promises whispered to your spirit. This is not merely another day, it is the day when your declaration becomes prophecy, and prophecy becomes reality. You have walked through fire, endured hidden follies, carried unseen weight, and yet the story did not end in despair. Instead, it builds toward this moment, where you are invited to stand, not in hesitation, but in confidence. This Thursday is not simply a pause between yesterday and tomorrow, it is the threshold where your destiny takes shape. It was written in the book of Revelation, chapter 3, verse 8. I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. These words are etched over your life today. The door is open. The promise is sealed. The declaration is yours. Chosen one. Understand this. Declarations are not empty words. They are seeds sown into eternity. When you speak life, you align yourself with heaven's authority. When you declare promise, you silence the lies that once held you captive. When you lift your voice in faith, you mark the earth with words that angels recognize and darkness fears. Your Thursday declaration is not about wishful thinking, it is about truth. It is the truth that says you are chosen, not forsaken. It is the truth that says your time is now, not later. It is the truth that says what once bound you no longer defines you. It is the truth that says every chain is broken, every delay reversed, every promise alive. Picture a warrior raising a banner after a long battle. The dust still lingers. The scars are still visible, but the flag rises high, declaring victory. That is you. Today, the war you fought was fierce, but the banner you lift now is stronger. Your declaration is that banner. It says to every storm, I am still here. It says to every shadow, you cannot silence me. It says to heaven, I agree with what God has spoken. Do not underestimate the power of this moment. For years you may have whispered prayers with trembling lips, uncertain if they would be heard. But today your voice does not tremble, it thunders. Heaven leans close. Angels, listen. The earth itself seems to pause. Your Thursday declaration is not small, it is eternal. Chosen one, what will you declare? Declare that your family will not remain in cycles of brokenness. Declare that your health will not wither, but will flourish. Declare that your finances are shifting from lack to abundance. Declare that your purpose is no longer hidden, but revealed. Declare that your soul is no longer bound, but free. Your words are not powerless, they are arrows. Once released, they fly straight, piercing the darkness, striking targets unseen. Do not hold them back. Release them boldly. Let your Thursday be marked by a flood of declarations that carry you into the weeks, months, and years ahead. And know this, heaven honors declarations rooted in faith. When you declare, you are not speaking alone, you are echoing God's promises. Every yes that leaves your lips resonates with His eternal Amen. Every faith-filled word rises like incense, filling the throne room with fragrance. So stand, chosen one, lift your head, open your mouth. Let your declaration flow without fear, without doubt, without hesitation. Declare the end of what held you back. Declare the beginning of what God has prepared. Declare that this Thursday is not just another day, it is the day destiny kissed your reality. And when you finish, rest assured, your words are alive. They will not fall to the ground. They will run ahead of you, preparing paths, aligning doors, shaping outcomes. Your Thursday declaration will not fade with the setting sun. It will echo through eternity as the sound of a chosen one stepping fully into promise. Chosen one, we have walked together through every valley, every fire, every hidden place of your journey. You have heard the whisper of heaven, the roar of prophecy, the quiet strength of endurance. And now we stand here at the close, not in silence, but in triumph. Your destiny has been affirmed. Your crown shines. Your Thursday has been sealed. But remember, this message is not meant to stop with you. Just as a river is not created to stagnate, truth is not meant to be hoarded. When you are stirring the waters, ensuring the flow continues. When you share, you are letting the river spread, reaching deserts where thirsty souls wait for refreshment. When you subscribe, you are saying, I will stay by this stream. I will drink again. I will grow deeper. And when you donate, you become like the one who digs new channels, allowing the river to flow farther, wider, stronger, so that others who have never tasted this water may finally drink. And do not forget the power of your words. When you comment, you are leaving behind a stone of testimony on the riverbank. One day, another weary traveler will read your words and find courage to believe again. Never underestimate how your small act can become someone else's lifeline. Chosen one. The journey does not end here. It unfolds daily. With every breath you take, with every step of faith you choose. Carry the fire. Keep the crown. Live the declaration. And let us walk this path together. United in light. Steadfast in endurance. Generous in spirit. For the story of the chosen ones is not finished. It has only just begun.